Welcome back, survivors. This is Julie 1961 for Old Gamers Never Die, and we are back on Ark on the Genesis 2 map. And today what I want to do is tell you 5 things I wish I knew when I started playing Genesis 2. Now, I'm back to my little base here that I had in my first video, and my diamonds just took off after something, so I can't really tell you where they're at. But yeah, kind of reset everything, got everything on my server working right, and I've actually been playing with some other folks on Silent Legion Gaming. I'll leave the link in the bottom if you ever want to go check Tilo and the crew out over there with the videos that they have. They do a lot of live streaming on survival games, including Ark. But there's some things that I wish I had known when I started this process. So I'm going to go ahead and list the 5 things, and hopefully it'll get you some information if you're just getting started out on Genesis. Things that I didn't realize. I'm trying to play Genesis when I started, just like I played the other expansions, and Genesis 2 is really different. I don't know whether that's good or bad. I haven't really decided yet. There's a lot of things that are easier, especially for somebody brand new coming in, and there are a lot of things that are a little bit more difficult. And then there's some stuff that I really haven't decided whether I like or not yet. But we're going to give it a shot, and I'm going to go through these 5 things that'll help you, I hope, get started on our Genesis 2, and at least make your life a little bit easier when you get started. So without further ado, let's get this puppy started.
Good on ya.
Okay, so item number 5. We'll go bottom to top. So this one is some that a lot of people know, anybody that's played Ark. But then again, I've run into some folks who just didn't realize this. You know, you play Ark Genesis 2, you're going to get this skin spacesuit thing that everybody looks the same, and you can color it and you can make it look different. But if you really want to show your individuality and make sure that people know who you are and show off that cool hairstyle or dye job you got on your hair or whatever you got going on under your helmet, there's a real simple way to remove the helmet look without removing the helmet. And you really need to keep the helmet on because it gives you some cool things that we're going to go over in later tips. But all you have to do is hold down on the computer T and come up with your wheel there and go to play emote, and then very top there it says hide hat. Boom. Now you're all out there for the world to see. You're actually still wearing your helmet, so you still get the benefits for it, but you got your hairstyle, your cool mohawk, or your purple afro, or whatever it is that you're rocking as you're playing Ark 2, so that people know immediately who you are and can identify you in a crowd. So that's number 5. On to number 4.
That's a ripper.
All right, so number 4. What we're going to talk about in number 4 is the drops. Okay, so the drops in Ark 2 are a little bit different than they have been in the other versions of Ark. So when you're looking for the drops, you'll see the little light laser going up from the ground, and that will indicate that there's a drop out there. But the thing about the drops in this game is that where in the other versions of Ark, you need to be a certain level to access the drops, in Genesis 2, you can access them from the get-go. So if you find one, go open it. Don't worry about what color it is. If you ever played before and you're like, well, the red drops are for the higher level people, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. You can access any of the drops at any level that you're at. And we're going to go through what these things mean. And let me go find a drop real quick and I'll show you how it works. Okay, here we go. We've got a drop. It's a purple drop, and it's in the middle of a bunch of really bad stuff, so that's going to be fun. But we're going to try to get this thing. Now, if you look, they all look like the orbital drops from Extinction. Run up, hold E, hit access, and grab it all. And get the heck out, because something's going to kill you.
One's on me.
But, you see, it didn't matter. It's a purple drop, which is usually one of the higher level drops, right? You usually go through white, then green, and blue, then purple, then yellow, and red. Doesn't matter. In Genesis 2, all the drops are available to you from the start. So make sure when you're looking around and you see those drop lights come up that you're not ignoring them, because there's some really good stuff in there. And let's get back to the base here and I can see what I picked up, because I've got a mod on here that lets me recover my stuff on death, you know, because I could. It's a lot easier to show stuff on the video if I can do that. So let's go in here, and we got some Ascendant leather gloves, some Ascendant hide pants, an Ascendant snow owl saddle, and a tech dinosaur gate. So you can get tech, you can get Ascendant gear, you can get all kind of stuff in these drops. So don't ignore them. There's a really good chance you're going to get them good stuff no matter what the color is. Now for the color, this is tip 3. The color on the drops matter in a different way than what they did before, right? So it's not level. What it is going to be the items that are in the space zone. So between, if you look at the map, between the Eden zone, they call it, where I'm at, and the Rockwell zone on the left, there's a space zone. And in that space zone, you can mine for resources, and some pretty good resources. You get metal, you can get oil, you can get all kind of good stuff. The drops will tell you what is actually out there. So if you don't need crystal right now and you're, got other stuff going on and the crystal one's up, maybe you don't go. It changes every night at midnight on the game. The ship will go into warp. It'll take off and everything in the center will disappear. And then once it comes out of warp, what it's doing is basically resetting, and it's at a different planet, and it's grabbing the resources from that planet, and they're getting stuck in that space zone of the ship. So that you'll know what's out there, look at the color of the drops. If the light beam is blue, then that means there's sulfur in there. If the light beam is orange, it's going to be black pearls and mutagel. And mutagel is something new for the Genesis 2 map, and it's used for the text riders. If you've seen them in the trailers and things like that, if you want to get them, it's a new type of element that you will use for different items in here. If the drops are white, if the light is white, that means it's ambergris, which is basically space whale poop that you'll need for crafting certain things, and mutagel. Again, if the lights on the drops are red, then you have oil out there. And there's not a lot of places to get oil in Genesis 2. There's a couple of nodes out there, and I'll put the coordinates for it in the comments below, but it's a great way to go out and just load up on oil. If the color is yellow, that means there's gems, green, red, blue gems, and obsidian out there. And this is just mined. You can go out there with your pick and you can mine it. The gems you just pick up from the ground. If the drops are green, then that means there's crystal out there. So anything that you need crystal for, that's the time to go out there and harvest as much of that as you can. And like I said, it's the entire 24-hour day on Ark, game day, that you got to go out there and mine as much as you want. And you can take animals out there to load up. If the drops are purple, it's going to be element shards and element. So to power all your tech gear and all that kind of stuff, that's the time to go out there and grab that. And then if the drops are cyan is kind of the teal blue, it's element dust and element. So those are the things to watch those lights for, because that's going to tell you what it looks like in the space zone. And we'll go there real quick, and I can show you, since we had a purple drop, then there will be element shards and element out there. So we'll be right back when I get out there. Okay, so when you're looking at the map, to get to the space zone, what you're going to want to do is you want to see these little tunnels that are on the map. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that goes out into the space area, and then across the space area you get into the Rockwell side of the map. So when you want to go to space, look for one of those things that's closest to where you're at and just get over to it. I am at 1. If I look around, get the map out of the way, I'm in the big metal structure that's out here, and it's fairly safe in here. I'm going to go hop down. We're going to go over some more of the benefits of the suit, but this is one of the really cool ones. Yeah, no damage. All right, so we're going to go right through here, and it's a ways to go, but we'll get to the end of this little corridor here, and we will be out in the space area. If you're on a PvE map and you've not got a lot of people around and they're not contesting all these different places, you can build pretty close to here, especially if the server is a private server and they've got the restrictions turned off so that you can build pretty much anywhere. You may have troubles on official servers building in here, and certainly you're going to be having problems if you're on a map that's got a lot of big tribes, because they're going to try to take control of these areas, especially in a PvP situation. These are going to be hotly contested areas. But you're just going to go through these tunnels and you'll come to the space area. Okay, so we get down here. This is basically a force field, like a tech door. So you can go through this blue tintish teal area and get out into space. And out in space, you're going to see all these different things out here, different rocks, and they're going to have different kinds of materials on there, just like I talked about earlier. Let's get to the end where I can actually go out. Okay, so now we're out in space, and we just go down to the first rock we want to come to, and you will get to whatever resources out there. Takes a little bit. Space travel's not fast. Now, I guess if you really tried, I don't know, I haven't tried it, if you kept going down, if you could actually get out of here and get into space and get left behind. I don't know if that's possible. What I can tell you is, if you're out here and it's getting close to midnight on the game day and it's getting ready to switch, don't worry, because it really won't impact you. And I'll show you how that works as after we get some resources down here. But all it does is it flashes, everything goes away that's in here, and you're just left here by yourself. I don't like being out here because when it respawns, I wouldn't want to be in a place where one of these rocks respawns on top of me. So I try to get into one of the cave doors before midnight's over with. But yeah, you just land on one of these things and come over with a pick. Great, I've got well, it's not going to get me any crystal. Yeah, you'll need a metal pick to get crystal off of this thing. So I didn't think about that. So you'll want to get a metal pick and come out here. Now that's crystal, right? Purple is, I'm sorry, element shards and element. So if I had a metal pick and I was beating on this, I would get element shards and I would get element. And then you've got pretty much every single time you're going to have metal out here, and it's a lot. So you can just go out here, get as much metal as you want, get as much of the other resources as you want, and you're golden. Some of the resources are going to be things that you just pick up. So it'll be like element dust. There'll be little piles of element dust. You just walk up with, just like fiber, with nothing in your hand, and you just pick it up. This is not one of those times, but that is a way that you get some of the resources. All right, so that's space. Now, there are things out here that will kill you. There are the void wyverns are out here. The space dolphins are out here, and the space whales are out here. So when you want to go catch one, this is a place you can come to catch it. And I'll give you a quick trap that can work on the dolphins at the end of this video. It's one of the things that you can use for a Maewing or a dolphin. Really simple to construct, and it'll get you a tame every single time. All right, I want to try something here. I haven't done this yet. We'll see it a shot, see what happens. So I'm going to go to my inventory. Remember I told you about the helmet? It gives you the ability to breathe underwater. Let's see what happens if you take it off in here. Am I dying? I am not. Okay, cool. So you can take your helmet off in space. That's interesting. But hey, at least you know it can happen. I'll stay out here. I'm going to advance the video, and you'll see what happens when it resets, so that if you're worried about what's going to happen and you're like, yeah, you really told me that nothing will happen to me, but I'm not really sure that's the truth. So we'll be right back when it's ready to switch over to the midnight reset. Okay, just to verify, you cannot go out into space as you're going down. If you keep going down to the bottom, you'll hit the zone where you're going to get stuck and you can't go any further. So don't worry about getting sucked down into space. And shortly here, it will warp, and I'll show you what happens then. Okay, we're coming up to midnight. We got 23:30 on the clock here. So I flew over, got a little bit out of the way, so just so you can see the impact here, and so I don't have a asteroid form wherever I'm standing. But you'll be able to see that when this thing goes, even if you're up flying around in here, you're not going to get hurt. And here we go. Here the engine's winding up. We're going to hit warp speed in a second. And there goes everything inside. And we're fine. So don't be afraid to get out here and mine until the last minute, because you're not going to get hurt when everything disappears and falls back in. The one thing you do want to be aware of is if you're taming something out here and you warp, that tame's going to disappear with everything else in here unless it's fully tamed. So if you're getting close to midnight and you see this space dolphin that's, you know, high level and it's going to take you a while to tame it, you might as well just wait and get the next one, because you're going to lose it if it's not fully tamed by the time you warp. So just be aware of that. Same goes with the void wyverns that fly around in here and the whales. And I hate to see you, you know, get out there and do all the work to get a tame halfway there, and suddenly, boom, you warp and it disappears on you. So just be aware of that as you're doing your explorations out here. Should come out of warp here in a second, and when it does, the different new matter from the planets will start popping in here, and we can farm something different than what we were farming earlier. And just chilling, kick back, relaxed. Kind of an awkward position you got there, dude. There, that seems a little bit better. And here we come back in. Warp is over. And we have some new material up here. We'll fly on up there. See what we have. Since I'm not out there to see the color of the beacons, I'm really not really sure what's in here. I think it's probably element. But we'll find out as soon as I can get to one of these space rocks. Okay, we're here, and looks like we have obsidian and metal. Yep, there's obsidian. We got plenty of metal around. Really sure if we've got some, probably got some gems on this one too, I'm not sure. But there you go. You're into space. You've seen it cycle. It didn't blow you out the back of the spaceship, and you can start mining again. So now let's talk about number 2. This is the number 2 thing I wish I'd have known when I started playing Genesis, and that is, this is kind of a two-part. I'll give you an A and a B. A is Helena. Remember her? She's going to be following you around everywhere. It doesn't have to be in your extra slot. She's going to follow you around, and it is a good idea to flirt with her now and then. Say hello.
Hey, survivor.
And you see, every time you do that, you get 300 hexagons. And then there's going to be a cooldown. And then you can do it again and get 300 more hexagons. And what you want to use those for is, of course, she's got a shop.
Welcome to the Hexagon Exchange.
And you can exchange those hexagons for materials, things that you might early game need. Or maybe late game need, and it's a free way to get these hexagons. All you have to do is just say hello to her every once in a while. You know, she's not very demanding, but do take advantage of that, because it's just free loot. You just have to remember to do it. So every once in a while, take a look at her. If you can interact and say hello, do it, and you'll gain some hexagons. The part B that I wanted to go over is, in your inventory, you got this chibi, right? And these are not new. They've been out for a little while. And you need to make sure you get your little guy, whether it's a Noglin or whatever else, in that slot, and keep the same one. Even if you die, get your bag back, put it back in the slot. Because if you notice, if you've seen the videos and the trailers, there's some really cool tech stuff that you can get in this DLC. And things like the hoverboard, and the tech bow, and the space dolphin saddle, all those things are way down here at the bottom of your engram station. I mean, you can see this is your hover sail, this is the tech bow, then you've got the rail gun, and then you've got the dolphin saddle. You can't get here unless you're leveling up your chibi, whether it's the Noglin or any other ones that you might have gotten. So the way you do that, if you haven't played the game before, is when you're out fighting dinosaurs and you kill an alpha, that's going to level up. That's going to give you points to level up that chibi. And that's going to add to your levels so that you can get higher than what you would normally get. Now, if you've got mods on the server that let you get way up there, you won't need it. If you've got a, blue pill that you can take and get to the top level because of a mod you're running, you don't necessarily need that. But if you're playing vanilla, or you're playing official, or those mods aren't on the server that you're playing as an unofficial server, you're gonna need to make sure you keep that in mind, because really suck to have played this game for hours and hours and hours. You get to that part and you can't get there because now you got to level up your chibi. So keep that in mind as you're going through the game. Make sure that you're not just, oh well, I got killed and I'll just get a new one, because when I respawn in, I'll get a new one, and you're going to start all over with that one. So make sure that you're using the one that you had before. Go get him if you can. All right, so that gets us to number one, and it's one that I kind of dance around with a little bit, but number one is, this suit is freaking amazing. I mean, awesome. I'm a little bit torn because in a way it breaks the game a little bit to me, but it is amazing. And it's not like armor that you put on and it breaks and over time. This just doesn't have durability. Now, it doesn't give you a heck of a lot of armor. You look on here on your armor, it's only 100, but it's always there. And if you've had tech armor in the past in the other DLCs, that armor all has to be powered with element. This does not. This comes on your character first time you spawn in. It'll always be on your character unless you take it off and switch it out to something else. And it gives you some tremendous powers that you wouldn't have otherwise. I'll give you an example. So every piece of this armor gives you a special ability. And one of those abilities, we talked about, well, I can't get the crystal because I didn't have a metal pick. Well, the gloves on this armor give you a super punch. And if you hold down the right mouse button on a PC, it's going to charge up, and you look at whatever you want to hit, any kind of resource, and let it go, and it's going to give you obsidian, just like if you used a metal pick on it. And it's going to give you a bunch of it. You can watch videos on what method gets you the most of everything, but I mean, this works on anything. Metal, crystal, element. You don't have to have tools to mine. I mean, that's pretty awesome. The other thing it does for so that's the gloves. The chest piece is a jetpack. So we're gonna fly up, and you can see I've got a jetpack that takes me up. If I double tap the space bar, I get a jet boost straight up. If I hold the direction keys, I'm going to go in a direction while I'm still going up. If I let go of the space bar and hold down the direction keys and hold shift down, it's going to let me hover at that level and go in the direction I want to go. All right? Yeah, pretty cool, right? I mean, why do I need flyers now? Well, you might need them for boss battles, but you don't need them to get around the map day one. And so, you look at all the other versions of Ark in the past, it's kind of like, oh, well, now I can get a flyer. Now I'm airborne. Now I can really do stuff. You don't have to wait. You've got this from day one. As soon as the first time you log in, you've got this ability. The other thing you can do is, it's not really fast, but if you hold down the control button while you're holding down the direction and the shift button, it's going to give you a Superman speedy flight, which will carry the momentum over after you let it go, and you'll move a whole lot faster, and you move a whole lot faster in the area outside of the space zone. But we're going to go ahead and get over there, and I'm going to show you a couple other things about how this suit works. All right, boots. As long as you've got those boots on, you take no fall damage. No matter how high you fall, you don't have to worry about hitting the wrong button up while you're flying your snow owl around or whatever else. You hit the ground, you're going to land. If you've got these boots on, you're not going to take any fall damage. The other thing the boots will do is, if you're running and you hit control, it's going to give you a super run, and you're going to run really, really fast. So, which is excellent for getting around the map. You've got now the Superman flight. You get up and you take off, and you've also got the running where you can just blast through stuff. And we're going to go over to the Rockwell section a little bit. I want to show you another advantage of the run. So if I hold the control button down, I'm going to run through stuff, and anything that's destructible, I'm going to blast apart, including dinos. And depending on what my melee damage is and where I hit them and how fast I'm going, I may or may not kill them, but I'll do damage to them. which is another great advantage of having when you're talking about the kind of creatures that are on Genesis 2. Right from day one, you got a way to really put a hurting on them. We got a spider over here. I don't know what level he is, so we're gonna give it a shot. And I want to show you this punch. $424 damage, and I killed him. Boom, dead. And I don't even have a weapon on me. Those pesky little bugs. I'm gonna get killed here because of... All right, so here's the other thing. Blast off and get the heck out. They can't catch you when you do the Superman thing. So the thing that it will not do, and it will mess you up, is if you get to the point where you're overburdened and you can't jump, then it's going to be a problem because you're not going to be able to get up in the air. But as long as you can get up in the air, you can get away from pretty much anything, and you don't have to worry about getting waylaid by, you know, the critters that are around here. So I'm gonna head back over to the Eden side, and I want to show you a couple more things about the suit here. So we have the boots for running, the gloves for the punch, we've got the chest piece for the jetpack, and then the helmet, just like the tech helmet earlier, you've got a mode in there. It's gonna let you breathe underwater, so you don't have to worry about going underwater and run out of oxygen. But it also gives you the ability to have kind of a infrared vision. So as soon as I can get over here and land without, you know, a place where critters are going to get me, I'll show you how that's going to work. So if you hold down, I'll go back into first person here. If you hold down the R button, you're going to get a cycle wheel where you can toggle the helmet visor to see kind of the infrared looking for enemies type of scan. This is another cool thing. You didn't used to get this unless you had tech goggles or stuff like that. And it's got several modes you can cycle through. If you hold that R button down again, you can see helmet visor cycle. You can go through the different modes, like, you know, the green screen, and the hold down again. Go to the next thing, and then hold down again, and probably come back out. Right? Okay. So when you think about what you're getting as soon as you get on the game, you've got a suit that gives you more power than probably the first 50 levels playing Ark on the old DLC. Just right off the bat. And that's why I say I really can't really make up my mind as to whether that's good or bad. For people new to the game and learning how this all works, it makes things incredibly user-friendly because you've got a tool that you can use right at the gate. For those of us that played Ark from the very beginning and we're used to, you know, first thing you do when you get to a new place, you go out, punch some trees, you get your resources, build your stuff, and you build your way up to having this kind of resource. For me, it takes a little bit of the fun away from it. I start wondering why I need the dinos, because, you know, what do I need a flyer for? I got a suit that flies. What do I need a harvester for? Because I can run into stuff and harvest it into my inventory right away. You see that, you know, it's stuff that I was running into. I got some rocks. I didn't get a whole lot of the stuff, but I'm sorry. You don't get the stuff that you run into. My fault. You get the stuff that you punch. But the reality is you've got tools right from the start that Legacy Ark didn't have. And like I said, it's got to make it incredibly user friendly for new players. It's probably levels the playing field for a lot of folks that are playing maybe PvE servers, and now they can get around differently than, you know, from the very start than they were able to before, and don't have to get picked off like a bunch of noobs on the beach all the time. But yeah, I don't know if that's taken the fun away from some of the aspects of Ark as well. So that's kind of the thing that I like and don't like about the number one item, which is the tech suit. It is just, I gotta tell you, it is incredible. Now, one thing that you'll notice here is it is a skin. It's got no durability, and it comes on your character even when you die and you respawn, but it's a skin. Now, if I take and swap out my, say, well, I'll swap my gloves out with these ones that I picked up from that drop. Okay, now I've got my gloves on, everything's cool, I can still go out into space, nothing happens there, and I've got some more armor. Let's see, we went way up on armor, right, because it's ascendant, but I lose the punch. Now, I can hold that right button down all I want. I don't have the super punch. I have to have that on there, and it's a skin, but it doesn't work on this armor. It won't go on there. The only thing these skins will go on top of is the Federation tech suit from the older parts of the game that you may have picked up along the way. You might find those on drops now. You might find them as you go through different stages and beat different bosses. If you're playing on multiple servers and you do the dungeons, you'll get pieces of it. And that way you can actually have this kind of a no element needed boost to even your tech armor. But as it is, very cool. And it is, I think, what, fiber, linen, whatever, the first stuff you get is like 10 armor. So this is 100 right off the bat. You've got more armor, you've got different ways of getting around, and you've got a mining tool and weapon all in one with that super punch that is incredibly useful for people that are starting out. All right, I'm going to head back over here because I want to do what I promised. I want to give you that extra little boost here at the end. I want to make sure that I show you how to make a foolproof trap for the Maewings and the space dolphins. It works every single time. It's not hard to do. And if you look, the reason I wanted to do this is because it's the cool new stuff, right? You see these things running around, the little raccoon with the platypus-like tail on it, and or beaver tail or whatever it is, and you're like, wow, that looks cool. I'd like to have one of those. But as soon as you try to knock them out or do anything to them, they take off. They jump straight up and they're gone. The space dolphins, similar. I mean, they're a passive tame. You've got to go out here in space. You've got to try to get them to come over to you, and then you feed them, and they might nibble you a little bit, and if you don't do it just right, next thing you know, they're aggroed, and then the whole pod's after you, and they kill you, and then you got nothing. So I want to get over here to the other area. I want to show you how you can do that with the level stuff that you're going to have. So let's just go real quick to the engrams before I get over there. The Maewing saddle is, there it is, at level 19. I'm going to show you how to make a trap that's going to catch that Maewing with materials that you will have even on vanilla before you get to level 19. So I'll get over here and we'll set things up, and I'll be right back. All right, we are back in the city part of Genesis 2. So this big area where you got all of the levels of the city. I'm sure you've seen it. It's the middle of the map. All right, here, and the reason I'm here is because usually I can find Maewings here, and I'm going to show you a surefire way to catch them. You can do it by yourself, and here's the trick. All you have to do as far as leveling is, you need to get to the place where you can make a wooden pillar, which is at level 12, I believe. Yep, wooden pillar at 12. And you need some way of knocking this thing out. And if you get up higher level 1 and sitting there beating it with a club, you're going to need a bunch of them. So I would recommend being able to make narco and make your trank darts, which is what, level 19, level 20. Where's trank darts? Level 21. Now, if you really want to, not wait till level 21 to make trank gears, because you can make that saddle at 19, and you want to find a different way to knock up Maewing out. They're not that terribly hardy. I just wouldn't go for something that's really high level. So I have, I think, one club on me. Maybe, no, do not. So let's do it with a club. I'm going to go chop down a couple trees, and then we'll get started on this. There we go. That should make a few clubs. Okay, so here's what we got. We got a Maewing down there, and so all we need to do is you're going to need 18 wooden pillars. And that sounds like a lot, but it's really not when you consider some of the other traps, other than just the billboard trap, which I have a hard time making work. This is the cheapest way of catching one for sure every time. So if you put them down, you'll notice that they kind of snap, bring it back to second snap point, and hit another one, and another one, and another one. So you got 4 that way. 1. So you have 3 that way. And then we're going to go back and do 4 out this way. Okay, and then we just double them up. All right, so we got that part. Now we need some wooden ceilings. Now we don't have to have enough wooden ceilings to make it all the way around. All we have to do is make a ring around the top of all these pillars. Come back here. And it doesn't have to be real pretty, it just has to work, right? So Even though you got this big open space right here, it won't jump out of here. You don't have to worry about that part. And the last thing we need is we need one billboard. So go there, and you're going to need to craft a billboard, which is, I don't have the engram for yet, so yeah, I've got to learn the other stuff. Okay, so we got the wooden billboard, and we'll make one of those. All right. Now what I like to do is put that in my hotbar so that I know where it's at, and just to be sure, I'm gonna put it in slot 1. Okay, so now I have my box. Where did my Maewing go? Oh, you're kidding me. There's an egg. Oh, there he is. All right, so not really high level since this one's a 88. Okay. So the trick here is you want to get him in the box and they don't aggro. Well, they do if you get a rare flower. You don't want to eat a rare flower unless you know that other stuff's not going to aggro on you. And I think those are far enough away and he's close enough to us. We're going to see. All right, so you want to be in the doorway so they'll come straight in at you and eat that rare flower. And hopefully, he's not close enough. Not close enough. Back down here, mister. All right, well, we'll just have to get a little closer. Yoo-hoo. Mr. Maewing. Did that get his attention? Still no. Really? Oh, that got him. Unfortunately, probably gonna de-aggro on me before I get back here. Maybe not. Okay, so he's coming right in here. And there he is. And all I gotta do is hit 1 for my fence post and just get right over here and snap it in. And he's in. And he can't get out. He can beat on that thing a little bit, but those pillars are pretty steady. And watch, he's gonna try to fly, but he can't get out of there. So now I got him. All I got to do is knock him out. So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna get some clubs. It's gonna take a while. I'll craft 20 of them. We're ready to roll. All right, here we go. All right, now he's not gonna attack us because the aggro is gone. So all you gotta do is just beat on him until I knock him out. Hopefully, it won't kill him. It's a whole lot easier if you got a spyglass that shows your topor, which I don't really have on me, but we'll just keep doing this. And he's going to keep trying to get away. This looks really bad. Sorry for those who don't like to show Maewing beatings. There he goes, he's down. All right, so we used 1 wooden club, which you can make early on. We used rare flowers, which you can buy from Helena. Where's she at? Helena, how you doing? Remember I told you to say hello to her a lot? Well, you should, because you can buy rare flowers from her. 5 for 120 hexagons, and she gives you 300 every time you flirt with her. So do that often.
Oh, just browsing?
Okay, now my Maewing's down. What am I supposed to do now? What does he eat? He will eat anything. So if you got berries, you can put berries on him. I got some measures, so we're going to go over here, and we're going to put measures on him. Am I going to get the best efficiency? Maybe not, but my goal here is to have a Maewing. That's the goal, right? And if this works for you, then basically you can tame a Maewing at level 12. That's when you get the pillars, right? Let's go back and check and make sure. Yep, there you go. Level 12, you can make this trap and you can catch him, and it's not hard. The key is be sure you're standing in front of the trap. When you aggro him, run to the back, have your billboard and your hotbar. Don't be trying to do the E button and hopefully you can get in time. Don't do that. Just get him in there. A lot of times he'll aggro to the cage in the back after your rare flower wears off. And there's plenty of strength in these pillars to make it. I mean, I need 1 wood, 1 thatch, and 1 fiber to fix it. It's not much damage to it at all, even though it's wailing a little bit. And you got one. And here's the thing. This is the really cool part about it. He's going to tame up in a second here, and then I'll be able to, when I hit level, whatever level it is to make the saddle, I can go ahead and put the saddle in. But for now, I can just kite him back to my base, have him follow me, and he can hang out, and I can feed him. He'll level up. I can use the breeding thing and breed them, or use the nursing thing and feed my other animals, or if I'm breeding any babies. All that stuff is, you know, I got it. I'm ready to go. And I don't even have a saddle to run it yet. Once you get the saddle, then he really gets cool because he does the gliding thing. He jumps enormously high, swims very, very fast, and makes it, you know, getting around this map a lot easier if you don't want to use your jetpack on your suit. The other nice feature about this trap, as simple as this is, you can also use this same kind of structure to catch the, what is it, Astrodelphis, the space dolphin. The only thing you want to do, and it, you know, maybe the wood will work. I don't know. You could try it, but I know stone works. The only difference in this trap for the Astrodelphis is you want to make it out of stone, and you want to make them 3 high. Same kind of structure at the top. You don't have to fill it all in, so you don't have to have that much stone to make it work. When he gets inside the trap, all you want to do instead of putting this thing up, I guess you could. I just don't know how sturdy the wood's going to make it if he starts beating on it. But you can just put another pillar up once he's in there, and you just have to put a couple stacks high, and it's blocked in, and he can't get out. And then you just pet him, feed him, and soon enough you'll have an Astrodelphis. So let's see, where is he? Yeah, he's almost fully tamed, 99%, a little bit over 99% efficiency. So he should tame up decent. Well, going to get 43 levels. Look at that. And we'll call her Rocket, because I think they look like the Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyway, so that's it. That's your foolproof trap at low level to catch a Maewing, and it's cheaper than anything else I've seen out there other than just 3 billboards. And I just can't get the 3 billboards to work. You know, you make a triangle, you try to catch him in there, he gets out, he gets unstuck, whatever, and it always ends up the same way. He gets away. So this is a way to do it. It's really cheap. I think it's like 1,200 wood is the max you're going to have to spend on this to build it. And like I said, level 12, you can put this together. And this is the same kind of trap we used back in the older days of Ark to catch some of the other stuff that I can remember, you know, we were trying to catch as far as flyers or without the roof and catching. I mean, you can kind of get a trike in here. And as long as you knock him out before he starts breaking these pillars down, it'll work. And you don't have to have a ramp. You don't have to have any of that stuff. It just run him in here and be done. And you can fit out of any one of these openings, and they can't. Hopefully that helps you. Hopefully this is something that you find valuable in your exploration of Genesis 2. I really do appreciate you watching the video. If you did enjoy it and you maybe learned something, or maybe you just had fun watching, drop a like there. I really do appreciate it. It makes a big deal of difference for the channel in our in our ranking. And if you enjoy the content on Old Gamers Never Die, hey, subscribe to the channel. I know it's a commitment. I get it, but hey, hit the button. And when you do, make sure that you hit the bell so that you'll be notified when I post new videos on Old Gamers Never Die. We do live streams with my old clan on Destiny. I do instructional videos on different survival games. I've got some other ones coming up. So make sure that you hit that notification bell so you'll be aware when those things come out. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. This is Yuli signing out.